except Carlos. On the agenda, we have, change this up a little, huh?
I printed the wrong one, so this one was correct, so I printed it. It's just the normal posting we have to do.
Ongoing business, Autumn Lane, Halifax Mini Storage, Highland and Sherwood. General discussion, Charlie Seawood, bringing in bandit houses, bylaw changes, outdoor entertainment, and Form A approval.
That's a memo.
And the minutes
Couple of
and
bills.
bills. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Make a motion to accept the agenda as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, you guys should have a memo in there about the request for Autumn Lane change of materials for the cul-de-sac guardrail. I think I highlighted. I hope I gave it to you
I
guys.
don't think
I
I
have
got
the
it.
Plymouth Street.
This one's double-sided. No, it's the same thing.
Maybe it's on there.
No? Did I not do that one? All right, so do you want me to give you a rundown?
Oh, no, hold on. If you guys check the packet underneath the outdoor entertainment events.
Paperclips are a little application here.
Remember that?
No. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't got it.
All right, do you want me to go make copies? And you
No,
guys-
they want to just turn instead of putting a metal guardrail at the end of the road, how long is that going to be, like 15 feet long?
I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but he
But
wants
it goes down to a dead end in a circle, right?
Yes,
Well, the circle
They just
drops
use
right off at
PT.
the end.
Right.
It's probably around the circle.
it is around the circle.
The
yeah.
whole circle?
Not around the whole circle.
What's like the end
Yes.
mark?
It's like this
Three
part
quarter.
where it has the steepest embankment.
So they basically want to change it from the,
Probably a third of the way around or half the way
yeah,
around.
they want to change it from the metal to pressure treated wood.
But they're gonna continue to use the metal for the rest of it.
There isn't. That's,
No, it's only
Okay,
that
it's
one.
only that.
that's
Okay.
the only section that's going to be on that street.
I understand.
Merrill Associates looked over and apparently verbally approved that it was okay, and the highway department also said it would be fine, and with any future subdivisions to call that out in the plans.
There could be
They'd
either
rather-
or.
I think they'd rather see the pressure treated wood, yeah.
I'd rather PT than it's
He said it looks better than the metal ones.
true. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, if it
Also
keeps it,
breaks
yeah,
it,
it's supposed to stop with that.
Yeah.
If it's to the same standard, then I'm okay
What?
with it, but that should be the biggest concern. is
It'll
keeping the
stop people from going over.
Yeah,
Right.
keeping the car in order is far more important.
Any other discussion?
It's a short run, too fast.
I can pull it out if you want to see it.
And if you're in the snow and you're going to skid, you're probably gonna be like 15 t-shirts. Unless you're, Larry, different story. Maybe they're going for the country escort.
I agree, it looks better, but especially if it's not in front of a house or if it's in front of a drainage area.
Convention garage.
Basically, it's from here to here.
Pretty good size round.
no island either, so
Right.
as far as having something
Drive
else
straight
to
off.
slow you down or deter you from.
And hydrant's off to the side. It's a long ways down.
It's
so-
18 feet from there to there.
Yeah.
Make it two-tone.
People can see it. Maybe
Wood.
put a couple of reflectors on it.
Metal. Wood. Metal.
I guess my concern would be how much different, or how much more, yeah, exactly, if the metal guardrail is considered equivalent
To
to.
do those concrete pylons like they put in front of gas stations. Those will stop a car.
Those would definitely stop a car.
I know.
You can put just basically boulders over there and it would probably stop a car, but
Yeah, I don't think bollards are the right thing to put right there. but-
No, he said boulders.
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 Well, he said pylons, and I assume that's what you meant.
What?
Bollards.
Bollards, like they have at the end of.
That's what they call
Pumps?
the bollard. No, I just call them posts. Concrete posts. Could you put Larry's driveway at the end of that too? Definitely won't go anywhere.
The slope goes the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I'd love to say that nobody would ever drive off of it, and what's the difference, but it's a straight shot right at it. So it's,
Well, they haven't had any problems yet, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That's
oh,
why.
alright, well, that's a good way to look at it.
Knock on wood. Jesus.
But they didn't have a target.
Yeah, that theory, I don't have to pay car
Well, we
insurance.
could actually, maybe request that they put reflectors on it.
We'll put shrubbery there.
Well, no,
behind it.
my other thing would just be how, if it's similar thing, if the wood's still gonna stop a car at 30 miles an hour, then fine, like, I don't see what the issue is. As long as it's not something decorative, as long as it's a
Heavy duty.
heavy. Oh, I was thinking at least 8x8 post, but.
Yeah, I think there's a.
I said as long as it's not a 2x8.
Yeah.
That's a beefy post.
So not like an 8x8. Because it's probably gonna be two pieces, right?
That's it.
Well, usually I think
have a
they notch.
standard for what they
I think
do.
that's
Yeah,
part of
there's
the
a
thing. It's like if you
standard.
take the
They're not
eight
just
and
gonna
then
go
you
out there
notch
and,
it,
it's
and then
not
you
like
put
they're
it-
going down to Home
put the
Depot and getting a
horizontal.
couple 4x4s. There's a standard for what they got up.
Except,
Yes, and
except for
it
they're not.
actually does
I haven't
say,
seen anything that proposes what they're putting in.
They would maintain all size specifications.
All right. Again, that's a different story. Other than hey, we want to make something out of wood.
I looked in there and I couldn't
4x6 and a
That-
6x6 would be pretty beefy enough to stop anything.
As long as it meets the requirements.
6x6.
All right.
And a
I'll at least
4x6.
I'll at least
As
go
the-
by that.
yeah.
It's got to be bigger than.
As long as it meets the Mass Highway construction standard.
All right. Yeah. Because I mean, they have them up on 58 all through Plimpton, which I thought looked great and was a good idea. So if they do it something similar to that, I'd have no problem.
Right, that's all.
Nah.
Okay, what else we got?
Make a motion to accept the changes to the guardrail at Autumn Ave,
What lane?
Autumn Lane, pending that they still keep to the standards of the Mass
Highway started.
standards.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Was Charlie coming up or?
No, Charlie's not here.
He's
We already discussed that.
he's on religious holiday.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one.
I'll take it that you had a good discussion.
Sure.
There was a moment of panic when we realized there was a camera in the room. What's going on with Halifax mini storage?
We just have the final site plan. Remember, we asked, actually, the fire department asked for a couple of changes
Do they
on the,
do that?
yeah. 30 feet
They did, yeah.
and 31 feet.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
And they put that box or whatever.
For the gate?
I know that's really with the fire department, I'm not sure if it would be on the plan or not.
Yeah, I thought they just mentioned that they were gonna hang something on the gate that was something. Oh, okay, here we go, knock blocks. Yep, the mid note. Or
Okay, cool. What's on the plan? Cool. Need 2 copies.
2 of these and that. And I think you have to sign each page.
We already accepted it, right? No?
Yes.
let you do yours first.
I don't think you can sign on top of each other, can you? Does it leak through?
No, it won't.
No, it won't leak through, but we can't let them smear against each other.
Right.
Oh, take top block.
Nobody does, nobody commits.
So you're gonna do,
I'm gonna get those.
Do
little-
it.
Actually, do it.
I'm just gonna wait. Too. I got
I don't wanna lose with everything today.
both of them.
Please.
Oh, I forgot to fill in the date. My date.
Where is it, 9?
21.
What is marked on the wall?
Check the top. Nice.
Didn't hear anything more from Jordan Rain?
I believe he is still working with the treasurer and collects the tax collector to, yeah.
Did we have to sign Autumn Lane?
But
Did we have to sign, not
No,
on,
just me.
the Halifax,
this is a Halifax mini storage.
that got signed?
Yep.
Minimal thickness.
I don't know if there's any cups.
I don't think there's any water.
Yeah, there's a little bit left in there.
Doesn't matter if there's no cups.
Do you want me to go find you a cup?
No.
I can.
So we have, Sherwood,
Yep. They're front to back.
What's 2 plus double Y plus or minus R2?
Okay, so those are the stations coming off of the road. So, like as you come up, your first is usually like 0 plus 50, which
Yeah.
is just 50 feet up,
Yeah.
up center line. So like 2 plus 0, 0 is like 200 feet
Okay.
up the road.
Okay. Cool. Tripping what you're saying there.
Yeah, it's,
Did that touch
Is there any specifics of like RT or is that
Yes.
just, is there any like?
there you go.
yeah,
Good.
on right.
Oh, right.
So like a lot of
Your,
just
signature for the
say something comes up and like has
reorganization.
spurs or other things to come up.
No,
like
it's
an
just for
also
the
a
account
good way
to have the
because then you can be
signatures on
like,
file.
okay, it's a station instead of just being like 200 feet up the road. Sometimes like the road splits and goes
should
around
probably
in
do a
circles. So
Okay.
like giving it a number and
signature
it
page
is
for,
like
Giving it a
registry.
way to kind of look at it without a
yeah. So
picture.
you couldn't
Get ready
measure
for the
like
next
700 feet this way, or
Right.
700 feet that way,
Right.
kind of thing.
Assistant?
Vice chair.
Vice chair?
Oh, I thought he was chair now. Thought he was late.
I'm sitting in a chair. Sitting in a chair. You already signed this?
Yep. I was on time. I was early.
For review of the meeting.
Doesn't happen often, so when it does, I'm gonna make sure it's
Yeah.
on record.
I'm trying to face the camera.
He already had to stop recording for me once. I think that's my letter.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any comments or discussion on Sherwood or
That's
Garland?
sounds like everything's going well.
I still have some looming and seeding to do. And what they want us to do, just read over these and discussion?
Yeah.
Is there a hearing on these?
Not a hearing yet, but they're having a meeting on the 26th with the Board of Selectmen. And they'll want to attend our other person meeting in case anyone wants to go. I should say you guys a reminder if anyone wants to go. Board of Selectmen for all the bylaws.
Oh, okay.
We should all come make a regular party of it.
Did Mudfest win
Alright, if you guys looked at the Form A approval,
Yes.
I thought that the wetlands was off, as you face the property from the road off to the right. I thought that was in the not to be built parcel.
I think this has to do with alterations that happened which reduce the amount of mapped wetlands on the property.
Yeah.
So they're saying what we were shown isn't what was originally on the property, and the parcel might not have the required upland.
They've been bringing in fill there for a while. But I still don't see how
You know what I'm
that
saying?
has anything to do with us doing a Form A.
Because we have to review the square feet of upland and wetland. Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
maybe I got the parcels mixed up, but is this the piece of property from the Pecks? So I don't think I don't think any of the area of any of the lots that we approved had wetlands on them. I believe that was off, they had the non-buildable parcel off to the right. I think you're correct. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one.
But I think they-
Street from the car wash, right?
No,
No.
actually,
No.
across from like a Dunkin' Donuts.
It's
and
down across
the-
Okay, okay,
by the
okay.
farm stand.
where Nasrella's is, but I think Nasrella brought in loam.
So did that used to be wetlands?
I think that's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the
So
right
is there a
of the
point
sign.
though that there used to be wetlands on these parcels?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I think that they're saying that there was more wetlands. They allowed them to fill in because it was agricultural, and that when they made it not agricultural, they were supposed to put it back to the previous state. But I don't see how that is affected because of the two lots that we approved have nothing to do with wetlands.
I think they're saying what we did was not wrong. They're just saying, please be advised, if there's a development coming, there's a bigger issue.
Well, that's for
The wetlands, for the conservation.
conservation. That's what.
Okay.
That's
If it's just we're putting you on
Something to
notice.
keep in mind if anything comes in.
I'm just wondering if it does actually apply to
To what
this.
we did, no.
I don't think so.
Not to the Form A itself, no, but just to be aware that if a development comes in of any sort, that we have to take that into consideration, I believe he just wants us to.
The
be advised.
conservation has to take it into consideration, not us.
Well, to the extent that if it were, they're talking about the use of the land, is that then potentially a zoning issue too? If it's a non-agricultural use for the way
No,
they
it's-
filled the wetlands?
No, I think what this is stating is that if you filled in the wetlands for agriculture, that's fine, but when you change the use, you have to replicate or bring back the wetlands. So that would impact
What the development is?
what the development would be later on.
Does anybody have a record of what those wetlands were prior to modification?
That would be up to conservation.
Conservation probably has it somewhere. I don't really know. I don't know the history of the property, so.
That's interesting.
Alright, where are we at?
So that's,
Bills or meeting minutes?
well, we can run through these things first.
The bylaws?
So that was the,
What are you gonna do?
that was,
Outdoor entertainment?
doesn't matter, whatever you,
I'm looking at the abandoned housing right now. If you guys want to tackle it on.
sure.
They really sell budding lands for $1? If that's the case, I need to get on that. Affordable housing units on these.
So if they want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Just said.
No, that's what they want.
They're trying to turn the property into chapter 40.
It wouldn't be it'd just be affordable housing, right? Not chapter 40B.
That's in it does say 40B.
That can't be right though. I mean, 1/10 of one building is affordable.
Why don't you just make it like into a garden?
Yeah, that'd be way better. Well, that's why my interpretation is if they don't want to use that, that's why they listed that last under, however this is accomplished by.
We can turn it into putting more solar panels or whatever, like make it profit.
Except that the town's not really in the business of funding solar farms and things like that.
We got land.
I mean, around the lake, you're talking about lots that are 30 by 80.
Well, yeah, the 30 by 80 lots, I mean, you could probably put
Maybe
like,
two of them, you might have 60 by
You
80.
could put a lemonade stand there. That's probably.
So, I mean, you're not gonna do a lot with it as far as the town
But I
or
know there's a
anything.
couple properties that are pretty much abandoned that have like 5 acres of land with them. It's just, what are they gonna do? They're gonna put, it sounds like they want to put affordable housing.
Well, I
Well,
think
it's got
those
5
projects,
acres.
yeah, those projects you could sell. The town could just have an auction, right, and sell that.
Basically what they're saying on this is that they're not worth much to anyone except for possibly like the abutter next there. You can never build anything because now you have to come into conformance
Right.
because it's been abandoned for more than 2 years.
Right.
But if you have a lot that's over an acre, it's not non-conforming use.
Right. You can use it, you can.
Some, yeah, you could sell it.
All the ones by the lake here are junk.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Boat access ramp, I don't care.
That's the thing. It's so nice by the water, right? But
Yeah.
We'll put a tent out there. We'll do the new brew fest.
Well, I think one of the problems is that the town waits too long to start the foreclosure process.
Well, by the time,
Yeah, which
by
might,
the time they're
might
there,
entice people
it's-
to do something.
It's,
Because if you wait too long, now you owed so much taxes, you couldn't,
Yeah, it's not
you know,
feasible.
if they just owe a few years, a couple of years, and they go after it, then the people can turn around and sell it. And
You gotta look at the resources.
get the taxes paid.
You gotta look at the resources from the town, that how active are they gonna go out to run and get the money? You know, or start the foreclosure process.
The process is
Is it-
there.
But it's not easy either.
The
Yeah,
process
but what
is there.
he's
though.
saying is if you give the notification earlier, you're more likely to get a better result. Just
Yeah,
by
it's less back
notifying.
taxes,
Right.
I get that, but it comes down to the process of like, does the town have the resources to follow through with all that?
a lot of those.
To go after the
A lot of those
houses,
houses
yeah.
are unsellable too. Because
Then why
they
does it
failed
take so
septic
long?
systems and,
Because the
Not enough
powers to
money.
be haven't gone after them. They're too lenient. And then once it gets up to, they owe five years worth of taxes, and, you know, you're not gonna find somebody that's gonna come up with that kind of money.
No. And who ends up paying for it is the taxpayers anyways, because they're in back taxes.
and what's the problem here? That the bank would never be able to sell if the bank takes ownership of it. They would never be able to sell it because
I
you
think what's
can't rebuild a
happening,
new house on it.
but I think a lot of these, there's no bank involved.
Yeah.
If the bank was involved, then the bank was gonna
They
keep
just
the
own the
tax.
property. So even if the town inherits it, it's worth $5,000 and somebody owes $20,000 worth of taxes.
But what they're saying is the town then has to go and take the house down.
And they're in such
Spend
bad
the
shape, you
money.
can't just resell it, yeah.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to find anybody to buy an empty parcel for more than $100.
Well, because of the way our bylaws written.
Yeah. I get it.
Because if it's been abandoned, you can't do
Rebuild. Yeah.
non-conforming use. So they're looking to change that.
can they sell a house with a cesspool on it anyway? I think that's a larger part of the problem is they get abandoned because they have something that they can't sell. And they don't have enough land to put in something to make it sellable.
Yeah, 'cause you have to
Well, if
upgrade
a
those
bank
to
takes it back and
septic, right?
forecloses on it, the bank can sell it without the cesspool, or with the cesspool. But you or I
Right, but,
couldn't.
but that's what I'm saying. If you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have a bank involved, who owes 5 years of taxes, they
bank-
can't sell their house.
The banks don't have to do the Title V to sell it. I wonder who wrote the laws, huh?
So the question there at the end of that was, Charlie would like to discuss,
She wants to,
Ways-
that's what this affordable, it kind of segues into the affordable housing. Because they want to kind of, he's talking about maybe through 40B or whatnot, changing the bylaws so that they can rehab these houses and sell them instead of getting a buck for them or tearing them down and.
well, even if you get a
losing
buck for them,
money.
you're underwater 10 grand probably to demo.
Well,
it.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
But if
no
we
way
can
to
clean them up
recoup.
and make them habitable, then will they fit into our town goal of having more affordable housing? I don't think there's that many of them that they make a huge dent on the affordable housing in the town that have been abandoned.
Every little bit, huh?
But is it worth changing all our bylaws for, you know, even a dozen houses?
It all depends on how much it's costing us to clean them up afterwards. I mean, to get rid of a
Right.
house, you know, fill a septic tank full of clean sand, and it's thousands. So we lost the tax money in thousands just to get the property to a point where we can let it sit there.
Then what do you do with it after?
That's what I'm saying. It's thousands just to allow it to not be used, but just for safety factors, you have to get rid of the building.
Okay. Any thoughts on that? We send
I mean, abandoned
an
housing?
opinion?
Other than what, creating a alternate zoning overlay for that area? I don't know what you would do.
Well, I think what he was talking about doing is changing the abandonment definition in there for non-conforming use.
Or the two-year timeline, maybe?
Possibly. I'm not sure exactly. It doesn't say really what he's looking to do.
I think it'd be interesting to go to that meeting to kind of hear their thoughts.
It seems like he wants a change so that these non-conforming lots can be used residentially again. That's,
I think we also have to look into what sort of rights that the people have to the property. I guess once the town takes it, that's it, right? I don't know if they have any claim to recover as far as.
Once
They
it-
get paid the taxes.
You don't want to, yeah, but what if,
Once the town starts the process goes through, the town then notifies you they're taking the property, you have 1 year to redeem that, and that's it. Your
Alright.
rights are gone.
you know what I mean? Just to make sure that we're not creating a loophole where I abandoned the property, waited for you guys to switch it over, and then come back and scoop it back up.
right, yeah, that's mine.
But if you lived in it, you could rebuild it because it was never abandoned, right? So if you wanted to rebuild a nicer house on that same lot, you could theoretically.
But what they're saying is that these are,
After it's been abandoned, you can't.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is right now, nobody could go in and buy those from those people because they've declared them as being abandoned for more than 2 years. So the people really have nothing to sell at this point. But if you change this, then the people would have something to sell. And then the town maybe wouldn't have to get involved in buying it and fixing them up or tearing them down. Because somebody else would come in and do it.
Yep, give it a free enterprise.
I guess if you just wholeheartedly just take the 2-year restriction off, is there anything else that could be problematic? Right, commercial properties, things like that.
Yeah, I
If you have
don't
some
know.
sort of a weird building that's in a residential zone, could somebody come back and rebuild that same?
Well, I don't know. I think in other cases, people have gone to the zoning board of appeals and they've allowed them to do that stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That may be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to conform with a lot of those lots, so.
And maybe you even just add that it shouldn't, no non-conforming use which has been abandoned or discontinued for more than 2 years shall be reestablished unless otherwise approved by the zoning board of appeals through some sort of process. And that at least gives somebody an opportunity to make an appeal, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the only problem is with that, then there's never anything that says what the criteria is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then every
If
time-
somebody
then
knows the
every
right
time it's
people
up
on the
to
board, they get it, but
and-
Right.
another person doesn't get it.
What it comes down to is when you change anything, any of these, it applies to everything.
Yeah.
Forever, until it's changed again. So,
But theoretically, couldn't you just go in there and ask for relief from every single dimensional criteria to build a house on a lot if you really wanted to?
I don't know.
even if you could just
I
try
don't want
to,
to get in it because I don't really think the appeals board has been doing a great job, but whatever. It's a whole nother. I think if there's no criteria for you to meet, then it leaves it ambiguous as to how it works.
Yeah, it
And
can't
everybody-
just be up to the board, and then the board has no requirements or restrictions or any guidelines to go by.
Well,
So it can't just be freely up to the board.
You're supposed to show those hardships that.
That's for a variance.
Right, so in this context, if somebody wanted to build a house on a 1/10 of an acre lot, and they demonstrated they had all those hardships, theoretically they could, right, by getting relief from the zoning board of appeals.
I think it would be easier to say, to leave the abandonment non-conforming. That to reestablish, you'd have to like maintain the same footprint of the building and that type of stuff, so they wouldn't be able to go in and
Yeah.
make a
Same
a
floor
change.
area, yeah, basically you're rebuilding the same building that was
Right.
there before, you're not building a
Yeah,
8-story tall.
Yeah, you're not gonna,
I mean, it would be good if you put in here what they were thinking about doing, but
But then
right.
this
you
is,
gotta look at it too.
Right.
If you only go to rebuild existing footprints, so you're doing the same issue, like now you're creating a lot that's not really desirable. Or, you know, a lot of these small cottages are smaller than anyone would put on there now too. So if the whole point is to, you know, get a new home into the thing,
But
get
if you're
some.
looking for affordable housing and people are already living in houses like this down there.
Well, I'm not saying affordable housing, I'm saying,
well, it would be.
Oh.
By the nature of the
By
size of
the
the
nature of the
building.
lot,
Yeah.
it would be the affordable housing kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be up in the 600s.
no, but do you want to limit what they can build there?
Well, I think what the town's looking at is, you know, the fact that you got $15,000 worth of taxes or whatever, I don't know what the numbers are, but say $15,000 worth of taxes, they can't recoup that. The town takes it, now you're gonna spend $40,000 to clean it up, and
That's why we should allow.
because of our bylaw.
That's
you
why
can't
we
do
should
it.
allow them to build, to not restrict them and say, okay, you can buy the lot and you can reestablish it, but you have to use the same footprint, which might make them less desirable. I think we should make them as desirable as possible so people do buy them, so they do get turned over.
I think
And the
these lots-
town doesn't have to hold on,
These
to them,
lots
you know
are
what I
only
mean?
so big though.
But I mean, you're gonna be restricted anyhow,
That-
because if you've gotta put a septic system on.
That's what I mean. So do we have to add that footprint thing?
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
think so. I think because that, then,
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? You want these to be as desirable as possible.
But then you have to create a whole nother set of dimensional requirements and all that
But-
for,
But we already have them.
on
Can't even
30-foot
think.
wide lot, you're never gonna be able to meet any sort of setbacks or.
No,
No.
we don't really have them for the.
Well,
Anything you wanna do on a non-conforming lot, you have to go for a variance and
maybe it's.
plead it.
I know in other towns that
Other
you
towns.
actually take the difference between your two abutters' houses and average them, and that actually becomes your setback, which allows you to keep with the character of the neighborhood. So if all the houses are already jammed up against the lot lines, you can now too, but if they're all set back, you can't. So you have to split the difference, and that becomes your setback. So everyone is actually has a little personal touch to it.
But we don't have that now. So.
I think it would almost be cleaner to create a new zoning area there.
Well, they're not all the same
So,
size.
yeah, they're not all exactly the same.
Without really knowing what he's shooting for, it's kind of hard to speculate anyway.
Yeah.
Well, attend the meeting and maybe you'll find out more.
Well, I was just kind of saying that we could talk about it for 2 more hours and then walk into the meeting and have it be something completely different.
That's Tuesday.
Tuesday, I've already posted in case, whoever goes, if we meet quorum, the meeting's already posted, so you don't have to worry about that.
What time do they do theirs? What time do they do their meetings?
This is gonna be on for about 8 o'clock
At night?
at night, yes. They start the meeting
In the
at 6.
morning.
On Tuesday.
Their meetings start at about 7, I think, so
Yeah.
this is on the agenda.
That sounds nice.
What?
Starting around 7?
That can be up for discussion if you guys want to switch it to 7 for the winter. It's fine with me.
I like 6.5.
All right, I mean, what's the board's feeling on that? Do you wanna go as many as we can to go there?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out.
I'd like to hear some answers.
I'll send a reminder to you guys.
All right, affordable housing?
I think I just went with that.
He's getting a lot broader with that affordable housing page. It's, mixed use development.
I think that'd be great if the town supported it, but I don't think anybody's building a nice mixed-use development.
Cluster zoning.
I love the house music. It's getting to the good part too.
Doing wonders for my migraine.
Sid, out of the options listed, this second one sticks out as the best one, in my opinion, so far.
In-laws.
Because if we allow those to be considered affordable, then it allows you to do that. You're basically gonna be improving on homes to add them.
They're already pre-existing.
Yeah, so you're gonna, you know what I mean? See,
It's not like cluster zoning like they're mentioning in there. It's like it keeps the integrity of the town.
so all you did was improve one building and then you kept, you know what I mean? You get the credit for the low income.
Right, I think requiring a certain amount of the housing to be affordable could potentially be problematic.
I don't like the idea of that, telling
Yeah,
the developer that they have to. I mean, it's,
if you want to build a certain neighborhood of a certain character, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 of the houses are substantially different than the other ones.
They can't be.
It can't be.
yeah, they have.
Well,
to
that's
be
under
the same.
40B. Under this one, they're just
Oh.
saying you have to build a certain number of them that are going to be affordable. And if you're building
Well,
$500,000
usually there's a trade-off, you're gonna do that. You know,
right,
you
you're getting
give them
something more back for it, more
you give them-
density, lower lot
Yeah.
sizes.
less frontage or something.
But at that point, you might as well just make it a 40B development and just do it the traditional way.
The only thing I could see with like revising the in-law, right? You technically have you have a whole other family living there, right? And the biggest thing is not sharing a common driveway. How would you work around that current bylaw?
Yeah, but you can have more than one driveway. I'm not sure I understand your question.
I don't think you would want more than one, would you? For an in-law apartment on a
This is
single
two
lot?
different basically two different families living there.
Yep.
For an in-law?
For in-law, yeah. You're
Well,
looking for potentially.
The shared driveway comes in when you have 2 different lots.
Yeah, like access in 2 different buildings, like you still.
2 lots, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who's to say that their in-law apartment isn't a small building in the back that they converted like a barn or a shed into?
You
like
can't have more than one dwelling on a lot.
Yeah, like these are all like additions that would be.
Well, that's what the
You can't.
suggestion is here, that you have a
So you can't front
separated
lots?
building.
You can't have more than one dwelling on a lot.
Even with a variance or
No.
I'm pretty sure the neighbor down the street was gonna was trying to put an in-law into the barn.
Unattached?
Yeah.
Is-
That he would rent out to somebody else, or they're just
No,
gonna make it like
for
a gateway?
family. Like an in-law, actually in-law apartment in
Garage.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to them before and they wanted to try and connect the two and we were like,
Oh, okay. Because I know they were trying, I heard some talk that they
Yeah,
were
it's
trying.
rare.
Because the in-law, they've gotta have common space too in this town.
Yep.
They do.
What's the common space? The grass strip in between?
The garage, fix your car.
That's gonna be a little awkward.
The driveway.
Yeah, having a common space with affordable housing.
No, no.
No.
A
So,
current bylaw.
Yeah, currently as it is, like, so you can't have two separated
No, yeah.
dwellings or residences in one building.
But if they are to change that, then you don't need a common space. I mean,
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think
mean,
if you didn't have the
but-
common space, you would also probably attract more people to the idea.
Well, we need to address it anyhow, because the state law changed and our bylaw doesn't meet it
Which
they
portion of this?
pass it?
for the,
The in-law? I didn't
The
think
in-laws.
they had done that
What was the change on the state law?
did they, I know it was
yet. I hadn't
going,
heard any of it.
it was supposed to be going through,
I'll have to look into it.
What was the change on the state law there?
that it was gonna be by right.
Yeah. A separate detached accessory dwelling?
No, I don't think it said separate detached, but it said the in-law,
In other words, you wouldn't need a special permit to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
you
So you
know.
could essentially build a two-family by right?
That's kind of what this is saying anyway, is that revise the in-law accessory
Well, I mean, when you think about it, you know,
to have.
how
it to
can you really stop extended family from living in the same house?
You can't, but I guess the in-law part, you can rent out to somebody that you're not related to, right? You don't have to be related.
Well, I mean, the state was looking at it, you know, that all these towns have got these separate regulations. People are coming back to live in multiple generations in the same house.
Mhm.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah, I thought the
to be able
multi-family
to stop it.
towards like having, like a second kitchen and stuff like that.
Well, the in-law would have a second kitchen.
Well, that's what I mean.
But the state bylaw says you can't regulate the number of kitchens in a house,
Right.
so that's kind of moot too now.
hmm.
So I
But
can't.
yeah, I
put
mean,
a kitchen in my basement.
I would be for, you know, if you're gonna do something with a developer, give them something if they're gonna
Right.
do something towards the affordable.
But I guess if we're gonna do that, why don't we just encourage people to do more 40Bs?
This, you know what I mean?
That's the give back, you're getting more density
Basically,
in exchange.
everything on this page is like, why did we
No, but if,
give that last 40B so much of a
but you can
hassle?
contribute to the town for 40B somewhere else. You don't have to include them in yours. But let's say we reduce the frontage down to 130 feet of frontage.
But then what, the town's gonna build?
Oh,
A
well,
development?
give the developer an extra lot potentially in exchange for an affordable lot. That's a good
In
idea.
exchange for cash?
Either or.
No,
But I don't think the town's building any developments, right?
No, but they could use that money towards affordable housing.
In what way?
The ones that we gotta
I
rehab,
mean,
the
You know,
abandoned.
housing for the town housing.
What do we do there? Do we subsidize rents?
You'd have to check with Halifax Housing.
The town doesn't own that, do they?
Yeah, the town owns it.
The Halifax
It's
Housing.
Halifax
yeah.
Housing
Yeah.
Authority.
Do we currently have affordable housing in Halifax?
I thought,
No,
3 units.
I thought the town, but doesn't the town
The
also
condos
own
over
other houses, right? Isn't that,
Not
What's
the
that?
town.
doesn't the town own like other, or is that another?
I think
Another
South Shore
entity.
Housing
Oh,
has
okay.
some houses
Like
that come
the-
under that affordable housing.
I'd like to hear their thoughts too on this.
Well, when we were doing the master plan, we went over a lot of that stuff, and Plymouth, what's Old Colony Planning had laid out a lot of stuff for us. But at that time, nobody wanted to include it in the master plan, including cluster zoning.
So on some of these things, like numbers 3 and 4, when they're saying that 2-family homes, one or both would qualify for affordable housing, are they just saying that the for sale price, the first time it's sold, would be at a number that it would qualify? Or are they looking to have controls on it forever?
Have it deed restricted,
Yeah, if it's affordable, there's deed restrictions,
that they can't sell for more than what they bought it for.
or the caps for rent and caps for value.
I think doing that for a 2-family would be hard to stomach if half of your development were affordable. You're not gonna get that much extra on the half that's not, that's gonna justify.
Yeah, but
I'm not
you
sure
can't
if
go
it's
half-half.
anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta,
Maybe
usually
one
you gotta make
duplex
20,
is
yeah.
affordable.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that if you had one half and one half, that's,
Yeah. Agreed.
again, you wanna go to the meeting and talk about that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna see the way they sway.
And I've seen the cluster zoning thing be more related to wetlands. If you've got a big parcel and it's just got a lot of wetlands on it, that you allow more density in the front to take advantage of the fact that you have this big piece of land that doesn't have all that contiguous upland.
Well, I think that would be a change that would have to be made to that 40,000 square feet of contiguous upland.
Correct. And I've seen
Because
that in other
basi-
towns, and they have that requirement where you could either do your traditional subdivision or you could do this cluster, which is almost like the multifamily bylaw, where you could put so many units on based on the total square footage of the site, but you could jam them, say jam them in is the wrong word, but you could place them in a smaller area
With
That's
reduced
jamming
frontage.
in.
with reduced, yeah, with reduced frontage, yeah.
Oak Point over in Middleborough, they're pretty jammed in there.
Yeah.
I think we need a fancier word for jammed in.
Yeah, there's
Who needs fancy?
But they've got some subdivisions over in Pembroke where they've done cluster zoning where
Oh yeah, the one up on Birch Street. It's
Yeah.
almost weird when you go into
there's a lot of backland,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, they have a walking trail or whatever out through there, but the roadway is condensed.
Yeah, they've done a bunch of it in Pine Hills too. They've done
Yeah.
some nice work out there with these tighter communities. But they're not necessarily affordable. It doesn't really help your affordability.
I think what he's doing is talking about tying that into a, but
Correct, but again, then if you're gonna do that, you might as well just do a 40B development and get the same, there's already a process in place for making it happen.
yeah.
I guess it would be easier if it were written into the zoning a certain way.
Well, I think one of the things is if you're doing it to
Encourage affordability.
encourage that, I mean, you're gonna write it up so that you're not gonna have to appeal
That's completely different.
all the zoning to get it.
Basically clusters.
Oh, that's a good point. Give them a different avenue, kind of, to still get it.
Because that's pretty much what you have to do on the 40B, is you have to go apply to.
Yeah, to zoning board and you get relief
Right,
on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it might be a little more friendly, might be a little quicker.
Could be. We essentially create our own 40B bylaw, basically. Affordable housing bylaw.
The only thing is, I just really don't see where we have massive amounts of land that it would lean in and work on. So you wanna move that into their meeting as well?
Well, I mean, it's all gonna be coming up at that meeting anyway. So,
Next,
might as well go over this, multi-family. he wants to just delete one section. I see.
I don't know
feel
if that's
like
the only
problem-
thing, but at least.
I feel like the problem with multifamilies is more than one section.
Yeah, I don't think the way to do it is attack by pulling it apart one at a time.
No, and
I think the real way to do it is take the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I do agree that that was one of those weird provisions that didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
However, it does fit with everything else the town does.
Just because everything's bad doesn't mean.
No, I mean as far as everything being on a separate lot.
Well, that's why this is a special exception to the zoning, right? Because it's different from how all the rest of the lots are done.
It also depends on, you know, what you want to do within that development too. But I would say we need to take a look at the whole thing and change that.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any sense to be able to tear it apart one at a time.
Right.
There's a reason why they're trying to get all these bylaws like changed at this our next meeting. Is there like a specific deadline or cutoff for?
As we voted on it at the
A lot
town
of this
meeting.
stuff, I think, has been attached to problems that have been going on in the town.
Right.
So it's kind of like a reactionary.
Instead
But,
of,
but all
Attack
of these bylaws are gonna be
I know.
looked into, and it seems like they're trying to push something, but right before like I don't know, like a vote or,
yeah, I don't know if they're trying to get this on for a special town meeting
Yeah.
or what.
because
Yeah.
it seems to
A
like,
lot at once.
it seems like there's a lot at once they're just trying to push on it, and they did this the same thing with like the marijuana bylaw. They like pushed it out right before the meeting. There's no point to try to kind of change it. I mean, is this the same action that they're trying to put here?
Looks like it.
Because if that's the case, it's like even if we go to the meeting and we state, you know, about the multifamily development, meaning like it needs to be relooked at more than just like one sentence and push it back to
Well,
be.
well, we have to hold a hearing if they're gonna try to put that in the town.
And part of it is to really start getting discussions going and start working on these, so we don't just look at it for now and
Yeah.
then push it off another year. It's got to get worked on continuously in order to get something in place that's going to work.
Right.
But the problem with that is it shouldn't be just coming from the planning board or within
No.
this town hall. It should be coming from the people out in the residents. Government isn't supposed to be making the laws. The laws are supposed to be coming from the people. So sometimes everybody thinks that it's up to us to fix all this stuff. It might be up to us to bring it up, but it's not up to us to write the laws for somebody else. Proposed zoning change for outdoor. I didn't even think that was a zoning.
The use, there is no use, right? Aren't they trying to create a special new use?
Yeah, they're trying to.
They're trying to put it-
facilitate.
They're putting this into it. Because I thought this just came under the selectmen. Oh, they want to amend the
It
zoning.
did, it got
bylaw.
appealed, right? But then they just decided to allow it this past year somehow.
No, I think it's still in litigation. Keep spending money in litigation.
So I thought I saw something get posted by like Mudfest stating like, I don't know, that they kind of won the litigation. I didn't know that it was still in court.
I haven't heard that it's been settled.
Because Rob isn't.
I get it from Rob,
Yeah. I don't know. And like I said, social media is always not reliable, but
And I'm sure if it was settled one way or the other, we would have heard right away.
oh yeah.
I don't hate the bylaw change, but I hate creating a bylaw for one event because we ran into an issue with Mudfest.
I think it's also going up to
Mudfest had an
that,
issue, so let's make a bylaw for it.
but I think this is also gonna potentially be, I don't know if you went to that meeting where they were stating that the big field behind the mobile park,
Yep.
the mobile homes park,
Yeah.
they, the kids are planning on potentially doing like
Yeah.
a big concert series there or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think a lot of that, they're trying to shy away from something where land isn't being used abruptly or something like that. Like they're putting strict time, like they're putting time restrictions here. They're putting like, they're putting a lot of restrictions on it, but they're taking away the fact that it has to be actually an agricultural event.
Oh, yeah, you're right, they are eliminated.
Taking that out of this.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So I think it definitely displays a little bit more restrictions on what you can do and how long you can do it. With also kind of keeping into, because of Mudfest probably being one of these that actually kicked off, it was just that's one of the events that kind of falls in.
Didn't they still have the Mudfest?
It's still going. There's still gonna be another one.
Until the litigation
Well,
says
litigation,
no.
They can continue.
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
So I mean,
I think it's really tough if you're gonna have this broad thing about, hours and things like that, because depending on what type of event, I'm sure they would be looking for different types of things.
It's
Like I understand that, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. is just a suggestion, but something like that, it might have neighbors, but it's, it's late or anything that needs to be wrapped up earlier in the day, then.
does this take into account like a wedding? I mean, if you have 2 acres of land
I
and
think
you
the
have
wedding doesn't count because you don't set, it's not,
Public.
yeah,
It's not a public
Private.
event. It's a private event.
These are public.
This is for.
does that say that in here?
Well,
Does
that's
it
what
say
I was
public?
looking for.
I thought before the whole thing was because it was
Yeah, it's a
for a
festival
commercial event where a wedding isn't,
Festive
charge
wedding.
admission into
A simple wedding. Well, it says on the back, no alcohol will be served, so.
That's not
the
a
wedding.
wedding.
Yeah, there's,
I mean,
yeah, unless you want to go.
speaking of
These
just
fun weddings.
that eliminates Larry's house right away. But yeah, interesting that they made that change.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of these bullet points seem tailor-made to kind of allow one event in particular.
Agreed.
And while not really providing an open door for much more.
I mean, you could definitely do another. I mean, you could definitely have other events. Like, a lot of festivals, even if they're agricultural, are around those times.
2 acres isn't very much.
At least.
It's not much of a festival you have on 2 acres of land.
The zoning board, when they discussed this, they thought that a minimum of 5 acres should be required. Just so you know.
Well, I mean, the minimum of 2 acres, I guess, really would open it up for like concerts and stuff like that.
What kind of a concert you have on 2 acres?
Small.
It's like 2 of your houses, right?
Small.
You can do a small concert,
Too small.
but you can't sell alcohol.
It depends.
Oh, you can't have
sell
alcohol.
alcohol. It depends upon how you're gonna run parking and stuff like that. But yeah,
And it
2
probably
acres
should
isn't
come
very
through the
big.
planning
2 acres
board
is
for, some type of site.
Well, here's the
plan,
other
so
thing
you
is
can see where
would-
the parking is, so you
would-
can see where vendors are, so you can see where.
But say you were just having a graduation party, now do you apply for one of these permits and then you get better conditions than you would get if you were just to throw a loud party at your house.
And have the police come down and tell you,
Yeah, so
Well,
if you,
graduation
I got a
party would-
permit.
yeah, that's what, yeah, right?
Go away.
But then you're paying the police to be there already.
Right, but a graduation party is a private event, it's not public.
That's number 6 on the bullet points.
But you also can have a block
Okay,
party
safety.
too. Block parties you can drink, block parties are public
you
slash
can't call it
private.
festivals.
You can't, yeah, it's not a festival.
Do you have to get a permit for that in town here?
For what?
Twin
Block
Lakes used
party.
to do them. I don't know if it was permitted,
Twin Lakes
but
is private property too.
yeah.
It's not a public road, so it's not a block. Yeah.
I have a block party at my house.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
but-
it was above.
The Mudfest is private property too.
Yeah.
Technically.
But it's agricultural, they're getting,
And for profit.
They're getting property taxes taken.
No, but I'm saying, you know,
It's
so
still not
private
public
property is
land,
not.
yeah.
If they didn't
But
charge
Isn't
anybody,
every, isn't every isn't it
And that's
property
it's owned by the
private?
town.
Property.
Well,
The
not
roads
like,
themselves,
not
but
here,
the roads
not
that they're on.
all that
are-
property over there.
What's that?
there.
Not right here, not all of that. Like this, that's not
Yeah, you gotta
private.
get a permit to have. a
The other
party.
thing I'm wondering about is, so all festivals, no more than 2 festival events
Per calendar
per
year.
calendar year, and that's for a property.
And not
And if
on
you had it 2
holidays.
days, yeah, so if you wanted a 2-day festival, that's it.
That's it.
You get
Yeah.
one. That seems,
Yeah.
Well, then you can
So-
go to the meeting and voice your opinion.
Where does it define all these and what the restrictions are? Because what was the actual,
we don't,
what was the problem though? Because outdoor recreation use is allowed, right?
It had to do with the agricultural
It wasn't
and that
allowed.
they were doing quote unquote non-agricultural event,
Okay.
and that's what happened with Mudfest. That's why that.
In the federal
And-
uses, it's actually not allowed in the agricultural residential zone.
And what is the use? There just was no outdoor recreation use. What's the problem?
well, they were claiming that Mudfest was not promoting agriculture, so it didn't fall under.
Well, there's two
Protection.
issues, right? The fact that they're getting reduced taxes and they're also generating
Right,
profit by
yeah.
this event.
So they were profiting from the event, so they were saying that if they wanted to do Mudfest on that
It became a commercial
location,
event because there's some.
because it was a commercial event, right? That's
Oh,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, okay. So the
Commercial
use,
event on an agricultural.
yeah, so the use says commercial indoor or outdoor amusements, recreation, places or places of assembly, blah, 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 are not allowed in the AR district.
Right, so that's.
And they were saying that Mudfest specifically
It's
has
an
nothing to do
outdoor recreation.
has nothing to do with agriculture.
What they said it was.
So, this,
It was a
Because
secondary.
agriculture uses are
It's a
allowed.
I think that's in that shady gray area in the middle,
It was like
in
a
my opinion.
new style of tractor pull.
Yeah, if it was tractors, it would have been
But
fine.
it's not tractor.
But it's not tractors, it's cars.
And like I told them, all they needed to do
Trucks,
is just
Jeeps.
incorporate one little small piece and then maybe else, I don't know.
They said they were harvesting rocks.
That's a good way to put it. You're tilling the soil.
Yeah, definitely tilling the soil.
This is how you till a soil.
In this area specifically.
Yeah.
But I think that was also one of the defenses was, I don't let the trucks run amok throughout my fields. I have a 200-foot swipe that I let them turn into a mud pit. It's not like I let them destroy acres of my property or anything.
I don't know, when we had that meeting downstairs, I did like his argument that, so where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
They did Farm Aid, and that was a concert series.
Yeah. And that was specifically
Is music
to
not
remove.
agriculture at all? I mean, probably not.
It's not.
But if it's
I think
to
the
promote-
money was
But
going
the money
back
was
to.
going for Farm Aid, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
have no idea what
that
the money
was-
for this is going to, other than just profit.
Well, I believe it's.
Well, it goes to
profit
hops
and-
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there was a couple other things.
Supposedly.
Were they bringing that in under open air?
No, it's on
Outdoor.
16731 under commercial indoor outdoor amusements probably.
Commercial?
No, this is gonna go in AR.
No, I mean the category. They're trying to create a new category. So right now, under this paragraph here, it says
Commercial indoor?
recreation. Indoor, outdoor, amusements, recreation. So I think they'd split out a separate category, create a new use,
Add another one.
which would be specific to just that outdoor recreation or amusements, right? And allow it either through a special permit or otherwise.
Not gonna know until we show up at the meeting.
Yeah.
I think the time restriction is tough, because what if somebody does want to have a concert on a place where they do the equestrian show?
Right. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's a long day. That is a festival.
Does the equestrian show that they do out there count as a festival or outdoor recreation?
It's agriculture, it falls under agricultural, promoting agricultural, so they can't do it.
Because it's horses?
Because it's horses, specifically.
How does that promote agriculture?
Because 100 years ago, they used horses to plow fields.
Yeah, raising and,
What if it were greyhounds? Could they do greyhound racing and say that we're...
That was in Italy.
No,
so
no, no.
400 years ago, greyhounds didn't exist here.
Or even horse racing for that matter, right? Could you do horse racing and say, hey...
When you look at
It's open to interpretation.
you could if you do them on those carts like you do.
Oh, chariots?
Like at Plainville, right? Don't they do that at Plainville?
Yeah, they do, I think, in Finland too.
With those little
It's essentially a seat with wheels.
The chariot racing, yeah.
but how do you convey that a monster truck is something that they used 400 years ago?
It's just a more modern version of
It's
it.
just another piece of machinery with an engine on it.
Anyway, moving on.
You could pull a,
And I guess technically commercial
You can pull
riding
it for
still
outdoor
is allowed
truck.
with a special permit, so.
All right, we take a look at some minutes.
only in one of them. No, absent,
Well,
If you were absent, you cannot vote on it.
absent.
she's got you in all of them.
There we are.
Do it.
I'm here for August 3rd.
Let me go in order. No, we do July.
July 27th.
Just depends on which order you go.
Either way. July 27th.
That's the Ritz Springer one.
Was I not here?
You weren't here for that
No,
one.
you weren't.
Oh, it was the
That was
one.
the one we actually went to Ritz.
I was
It was the second one.
You went where?
I was early for that one.
You showed up down there early?
Heron.
Actually, was there
Boston
early for that one.
accent's kind of getting the best of me today. These look good.
I guess I missed that one.
That has the one where we changed the Dunkin' Donuts, got a little more
Yep.
grass.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for July 27th, 2017.
So motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we got some more greenery.
Yeah, they showed us
Dunkin' Donuts.
It actually says the word shrubbery.
Yeah.
a shrubbery.
We said
Low shrubbery.
Larry was concerned about the ancient trees there, so we need a little bit more shrubbery.
Who signed it? Gordon? No.
Yeah, I
John,
was
Mark,
there.
and Carlos. Boy Scouts.
Oh, I thought that was the people in the ductwork. I was like, you changed the beat on me, kid.
One of those two.
Okay, August 3rd.
So I get two official copies.
Mini storage. Oh, I
Official
got
one,
one, yeah, I
wasn't it?
got an official.
Just what it is.
Ah,
Yeah, I thought I was special for a second. I was like, I get an official copy.
Yeah, they're all official.
August 3rd.
I'm not in here at all.
Were you quiet?
Seconds.
You did second.
You're just moving around, making motions.
That's why they brought in the camera.
We don't have a height restriction up there. No, we do. That building's gonna be less than 40, 39.9. It's not much height for 3 stories.
You don't get 3 stories.
It says,
2.5.
it says 1 and then 2 above, right?
Yeah, it's like the.
One's below grade.
It's a basement level one?
Yeah.
Yeah, walkout basement.
Walk out.
Well, no, I don't believe it's a walkout.
No, it's not.
Completely underground.
Yeah, because like the back is like the retaining wall for the detention basin.
Good times. Cool.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August 3rd, 2017.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Is this official?
We're all official though.
Well, they sign on mine.
Oh, Mark was in that wrong thing.
No, only Carlos was that.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, not all of these.
I mean, not Mark. Carlos, my dad. Not the. Did Dunkin' Donuts ever get the final approval yet?
Yes.
Sweet.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August 17th, 2017.
A motion, is there a second?
Can, I wasn't there.
Can't.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
So what was there?
Just the 3 months.
Carlos seconded.
Sure.
I didn't second.
You
I
weren't
wasn't here.
You weren't here?
You weren't here?
I weren't here. My brain's mush. Right. We're getting married in like 9 days. So,
You are?
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have a permit for that?
I did. It was funny.
Get your license?
Yeah. The assistant downstairs, I put my mom's name, Judy, and stuff like that. The assistant put June. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not June.
Where you going to do it?
Like Pearl and Rentham.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm not worried on
Does
anybody.
that mean you won't be here at the
Europe.
next meeting?
Probably not.
Where you going, Europe?
I'm gonna do like 7 countries. It's like a tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should
Gonna do
I
it
guess
like
the 7 or are
March.
you gonna tell us?
Huh?
Should I guess the 7 countries?
France, Spain, England, Germany.
Portugal,
Keep
Italy.
going. You got like almost all of them.
Where else are you gonna go? Netherlands.
Amsterdam.
There you go.
Amsterdam, yeah.
And Syria.
No, I think we're gonna go try and go to Italy and stuff too.
Italy. That's
Mark, you
Greece.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to pay a bill to Silva Engineering Associates for a site inspection report for Jordis Rain Estates in the amount of $473.75.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
Have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to pay bill to Merrill Associates, invoice number 4724 for Sherwood Drive and Highland Circle on site review and report. In the amount of $897.78.
I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second that one too.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
How are we looking on toner?
Can I get a Tony's doing great, thank you.
Make a motion to buy some cups.
I'll
I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll
But
do
not the
supply.
flimsy ones.
That's a nice cut.
I know, she had to go
Yeah.
find it for me.
Yeah, you want to sign?
What do I?
We want
I
like,
just have a memo here to tell you guys about, it looks like the All Seasons Restaurant and
Did
Sports
we have the other
Lounge.
bill?
Yeah, we already did it.
Sold.
You already got signed?
Has been sold.
China Plaza?
Asian food, right?
It's
Chinese
going
food?
to be Chinese food. It's going to be called the Happy Dragon Restaurant.
Happy
Three
Dragon.
signed?
Happy Dragon. Yep.
Three signed?
Yes.
When does that happen?
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So has there been a new business
the same
application?
owners as the ones across the
Yeah,
street.
they already got their liquor
One
license.
down at, no, it's not the same one as the one on the street, no.
They do
I guess she
was
That's what Chinese food was.
She was
supposed to
formerly the
taste
owner of China Plaza in Northland.
Oh,
Does that still exist?
like.
Yes,
oh
I
yeah.
heard China Plaza is good.
there we go.
Yeah.
So they went through the selectmen a couple weeks ago to change over the LLCs or whatever. Met with the building inspector Tuesday, I think. They're going for a visit to the restaurant tomorrow with the Board of Health, see what their plan is. All Seasons is staying open until they close. Then it will close while they switch over equipment, maybe do a few interior cosmetics.
Yep.
And
Cool.
then they hope to open in November. Yeah.
Before
Quick
Dunkin'
turnaround.
Donuts, damn.
That'll be quick.
It's an existing building.
Any word on the crab rangoons?
No.
There will be some, I'm sure.
Concerned with the quality.
We'll make sure we put that in the note in the minutes.
Oh yeah, scratch that.
Do we have any other mail?
Just notices.
Motion to
There-
adjourn.
No. I have one last thing to bring up. If the board chooses to entertain, the Dunkin' Donuts was approved by the Board of Health last night. They dropped off their final site plan today. If you guys wanted to review it and sign it, that is up to the board. What's your pleasure?
We've already
Might as well take a look at it.
Yeah,
And there's a
there's
motion on the
Do we
table.
normally sign it?
I didn't hear it.
Site plan.
But it's an optional thing?
It's up to you. It's the board. They weren't on the agenda and I told them that.
I mean, we've already
What
looked
do they
through
want?
it, like,
Sign it off?
the only thing that we asked for them to change was the frontage and then that turn part area.
Probably made it twice as big.
A little bit of shrubbery.
We asked for shrubbery because
It
it's-
says they gotta put a little shrubbery in.
they're gonna name one of them later.
They're gonna want to terrace.
Higher.
No, they named them mulch.
Keep passing. What cover's gonna be?
No, I think that when we actually asked them about the shrubbery and stuff like that, they were like, they didn't wanna put more trees up.
We're gonna have to remove shrubbery from glossary.
These two copies of the
Drainage.
wooden guardrail detail.
They advise that the topography is staying the same,
How's our pylon
I
sign
think
size?
2 by 11.
Yeah.
That's the right size, I don't know, it's pretty big, right? 7
Yeah,
by
what's-
3, 42 square feet of sign. It seems like a lot of sign, doesn't it?
definitely double digit.
We have 7 pages of sign bylaws, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. 38 square feet of sign, is it okay?
No.
What's the rule on signage?
Well, because there's gonna be more
Yeah, it's 10.
than one
This
business,
is
it's
3.5.
considered a complex.
And then there's arrow
It's
6, so it's
considered
definitely
a
a 6
directory
by
sign,
10.
and they can go up to 4.
Really?
It would still have
Yeah,
to be
so
approved.
6 by 10 by 9.
Because it looks like it's, I would call that 0 inches times 0 times 6 feet.
It's a
Unless it's
non-existent.
supposed to be 8 by 8 by 6 feet. Which I don't understand how, if it's 6 feet, how is it 36 feet and exposed 3 feet? I can't. I think
Will that interfere with the shrubbery?
Might be 6 by 120, 6 inch by.
yeah, maybe. Add up at least.
Closer.
So 6 foot 9,
10.
6 foot on the ground, that's pretty decent.
So what did the front look like? It's just express.
Smeared there too.
It's very, yeah.
What did they end up doing?
2 by 12. Pressure treated timber. Yeah, it's pretty much. Might want to get confirmation.
Smush on this one.
Yeah, it's pretty unclear. Yeah, I don't think you would use anything. I don't think that's a 0. But it has that loop, and anything with a loop is a 6. Now, this little area that we talked about, like patio area, told them like, remember they told them to
Yeah.
put some grass, put some like gravel or whatever.
Yeah, so we got more grass up there.
But
so we got-
originally this wasn't here, and they're just coming around, and we're worried about like people turning right in the patio. So it's like we told them that we wanted to kind of make
Bring
it
the
flow a
curve
little
up a
better.
lot.
I thought they were also gonna square it off, weren't
They
they?
said they
yeah.
were gonna square it off.
That actually kind of
'Cause we-
looks better with them.
But now they don't have room for their patio.
No, the patio's still right here.
It's not much space, right?
No.
Is that 5 by 5?
Well,
I know
looks
that
like
when-
a former building.
When we have them draw it out, we have to match the roundings on either side.
Right.
The other thing I'd question is this now saying patio, is that supposed to be an arrow saying that this is? Because
Yeah, it looks
we
like they're
certainly
extending the
want,
patio.
but we don't want that patio, right?
No.
You want that to be landscaping, right?
Right.
I think that should be clearer, only because I would look at that as that arrow is
For saying it's gonna be both.
patio,
Yeah.
patio, and
And are the dots intended to be concrete or landscaping?
yeah, but I don't know,
Well,
but
there's
with
dust
this,
in here too.
but if he creates the same texture, then that's leading me to believe that that's all concrete now.
Right, because he originally said it was all gonna be grass.
Yeah, we wanted grass,
Landscaping.
grass here to match this.
Ultimately,
And-
it
and
doesn't
this
even matter. I just think it will look better with a little bit of landscaping.
And we were trying to, just push for as much green as we could. I would say that my interpretation of that is he's saying that that's all patio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a clarification on that would be nice. There you go.
Okay.
That's what you get for drawing it with a pen and erasing
Yeah,
it.
you can put line
Yeah.
around, just draw it down. You even take the time to put the shrubbery in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if he was purposely leaving out shrubbery.
When did we discuss this?
Oh, wait, look. Look at that.
It was-
Yeah, he removed the shrubbery. You can still see it right there, right there.
see it.
Or tried to.
All right, well,
Was it
we
on the
can also
27th?
Go over the meeting minutes for that.
It was the
Okay.
meeting minutes that we just approved.
So there was shrubbery supposed to be here, right around here, and then we
You have the
said,
shrubbery out in the roadway?
oh no, like right around here.
You don't want it too high either, because then you
No,
Down
lose
with you.
the,
I'm not a landscaper. He was naming off some things that he was like, yeah, it will grow
He
like.
left it exactly as he was gonna contact a landscape architect or landscape company. They were gonna draw up a plan and they were gonna submit to us the planting.
Right.
Like a design build thing, they're
Yeah,
just gonna send
right.
us a copy, whatever they sketched
Kind
out.
of like the one that's further down on Plymouth Street, right next to the Logan's Power Center. Like they were like, yep, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. There you go. It's on the 27th.
Yeah.
I wasn't even here right
Is
now.
there any plans for them to build sidewalk along this frontage at some point? Or are we just gonna leave that for the birds? I know we kicked the can on this one. But they're trying to sell these other properties down the street there.
We got I believe the sidewalks all on this side.
There is, but should there be on both sides? We only have so many crosswalks, right?
patio is supposed to be 10 by 10 with a couple of
I
chairs
don't know how
and
much
tables.
land they have on that side.
That's the thing, enough for a sidewalk. It's got a vertical curve, I think you can stick the sidewalk right up on the
It
street.
also dips over there.
Actually, it doesn't have a curve,
Yes, it does.
doesn't it?
Mm.
Granite?
At Granite Caravan.
I'm curving down here too.
A lot of that land slopes.
They discuss
Yeah.
greenery in those areas as it is already indicated on the plan. It will just be expanded.
Yeah, yeah, because
So that's supposed to be green.
Do you want me to just draw it?
Briefly discuss the landscape.
just use the high speed erasers to get up the mile. This
Yeah.
is kind of tricky.
They are nice.
Wait, what?
You can get pretty close to them.
You got like they actually have a razor that goes like really fast.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like 100 RPM and you gotta spin. And you gotta be careful not to like burn through the mile.
Alright, so would you like me to have him come in the next meeting to clarify all this?
Or you could just revise it.
Yeah,
Revise it?
I think
Yeah,
just
I
something
think
written
just-
saying that he would say he'd do it. And revising it.
Because if he comes, he's going to spend time for his engineer, whoever it is,
Yeah.
to actually stand here and
I think
You
you
want them to just send over the planting schedule? And where the greenery's going?
I
I
think
think the
that'll be
planning board
fine.
should be there when they plant them.
Up to you.
Up
What's
to you.
the,
With a hot cup
So
of
the board
coffee,
likes to
right?
said that.
I don't think you should have to pay his engineer to come necessarily to talk us through it.
Nah, I think you can just
No.
tell them to clarify those things and sure you can do
because
it.
the original site plan, when it was originally approved years ago, there was no patio, which, remember, I brought that up because all of a sudden it was on the plan.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
that's all now. And it was agreed to be 10 by 10 patio, and the rest was supposed to be greenery. But they were gonna fence in that, so like kids could like run in the greenery, kinda, do you remember?
Yeah, it's going to be like a 48-inch tall, like one of those aluminum fences, just so people can sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Right, that the kids could play in the grass or whatever.
I remember that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
now,
Motion's still on the table.
The what?
Motion to adjourn?
The motion to adjourn, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.